What's going on, YouTube? So I did a quick little spray on the valve covers. They were a little dusted. Just look a little bit better. Anyways, I am working on making a power steering line, getting all the fittings figured out, and I'll show you guys what I did for that. I got like a universal power steering line kit, and it came with a bunch of fittings, and you just find the one that works. However, they were a little bit too long, so I chopped the fitting a little bit, probably just this nipple part off, because you're supposed to use an O-ring instead of a flare. But what I'm gonna do is crush washer seal. That's how a lot of aftermarket power steering lines are done anyways, so yeah. So we got it routed, all done. Wish had the right headers here so I can kind of make it fit better and work around that. But I'm just trying to get stuff done right now while I can. Also waiting on the tensioner. It bolts right there, but we got plenty of room to play with fitment there. It routes behind it, so we'll be good there. Should be good with the headers. I don't see them running down here. I don't know why they would do that, but you never know. All right, looks like the measurements I did were correct. Kind of took a guess on if S13 radiator will work based off of just the measurements and the neck locations. Already got the top hose figured out with the steam port adapter on there. And then getting the lower hose figured out, but pretty straightforward. Just a mock-up. Still have to make my own transmission mount, but that's no big deal. Placement's really good. Pretty much centered. I like it. Got some more parts today. 2 boxes, 3 boxes. Sheesh. Some long tube headers. See if they fit. Well, they definitely fit. These are meant for an X8 Cressida LS1 swap. Fit pretty good. They are a pain to get in there, but remove the valve covers. You have to take the steering shaft out. Pretty straightforward. Oh wow. Honestly, once this is fully on there, okay, it looks like we're hitting bell housing a little bit. Yeah. So I'll have to bang that one in. This one isn't gonna hit anything. Well, I ran out of header wrap, but got the whole collector wrapped up. It's just mock up because I'm gonna wrap individual runners. Did get some OEM knock sensors and a harness. One of my knock sensors had like a broken connector on it, and I was missing this harness, so figured get OEM. It's probably the best way to go. Alright. New sensors are in there. New knock sensor gaskets or seals, whatever you want to call it, valley cover, and new harness. So now I can finally fab up the steam port kit, which I'm gonna route right into here. So let's get that going. So this is all it came with. A little bit overwhelming, but look at some pictures. seal up some threads, get it all together. Got this thing all set up. Got all the four fittings in there with new seals. Alright, so whole time I was setting this thing up, I'm like, man, this is the stupidest looking shit ever. So factory just has front steam port and the back's capped off. So I'm just gonna run the front one. Just run the factory setup. Got this lower hose figured out with a little bit of flex hose and a random 90 I had laying around, and then I used a 1 1/4 to 1 1/2 inch little adapter here, barb fitting from ICT. Got the fuel system all figured out. Regulator's gonna sit right about there. Got the fuel into the rail. A lot of room back here, so I'm gonna have the fuel filter mounted back here, and then return just goes straight down. For the fan setup, can't really fit one on that side, so we'll have one right here, one right here. Work perfectly fine. Use some radiator hose over the nubs as bushings. Put some on the fin here so it doesn't hit. Bothers me a little bit they're crooked, but at least they're both at the same angle. I don't have a riv nut gun, otherwise I would have straightened them out. But something to do in the future. Just wanted to use some factory holes, and solid. I am very itchy. 75 feet of header wrap. Got the trans pulled back out. Got the FabBot slave adapter and lines all through. Had the trans in just for mock-up because I was waiting on the adapter kit. I already had most of the kit, but the guy I bought this shit from lost everything and kind of ghosted me, so that was cool. I was missing this custom pilot bearing, and then there's a slave spacer to make up for the space of the plate. So yeah, hopefully this is the last time the trans comes out. Alright, getting the clutch stuff on. Got a lightweight flywheel, but OEM style clutch. Some ARPs. That is not an OEM style clutch. Maybe it is. I don't know. Alright, flywheel's all torqued up on there with Loctite. If it spins, Loctite it. So here is the OEM style pilot bearing that went deep up in there into the center there, and the aftermarket one goes around this big diameter to push it out a little bit further to make up for the spacer on the adapter plate, etc. So don't need this. So we'll get that aftermarket one pushed up in there. Well, got the clutch all mounted up in there. However, the flywheel didn't have any dowel pins on it, and I'm kind of worried. Never ends. Alright, we interrupt this program to show some JDM packages parts. Oh, that's not mine. We unbox them. The Nardi collection. Yeah, if anyone needs a Nardi, let me know.
Okay.
Yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. We'll be doing a giveaway.
A giveaway!
We gotta do some setup wizardry. Please run wizard. TPS auto set before startup. Wizard. TPS. Make sure ignition is on and engine not started. Start. Slowly press pedal to the floor. Twice. Next. Successful. Done. Wizard. Set ECU date and time. Back. What does it say?
Instruction.
Please key cycle for changes to take effect. Please run wizard. Wizard. Bro. This thing is like tweaking out. Fuck. Is it our... oh. These features require the use of Terminator X software for initial configuration. Dude, I don't know if it's our fingers or what.
Not fucking with it. Oh. There we go.
Alright, we'll get back to you. Well, I spent hours trying to get the Holly screen to work, but the touch screen on it was very sensitive and just wouldn't react. Sometimes it would work, but sometimes it wouldn't. I ended up getting really mad and just breaking the fucking screen. So, yeah. It does crank though. Well, it's the next morning after I've cooled off, and I think this is where we're gonna end the video. I didn't mean for it to be a teaser, but you know, it's also a teaser for me. A lot of shit leaking. Well, just fuel, which is just because I got a cheap intake manifold and rails. Wouldn't recommend that to my worst enemy. But it really sucks about the Holly screen being broken right out the box, and I just bought a new one, but it's on back order. Not sure when it's gonna come, but yeah, that's where we're at. Later.